Who did?
Lance.
He tried to take it?
Yeah.
I won't do that. I'm not that interested in what's on your phone. Lance may be.
Those aren't my kids.
You had a picture of more than one kid?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Okay, all right. How old is your oldest?
9.
9, okay. All right.
17. I mean 9, but 17.
Oh, yeah,
You know how that
yeah.
is.
No, I don't at all.
Is there any concern that the guys might be distracted after beating Indiana?
I don't think Indiana will have anything to do with it. Just because it's been it'll be 6 days, so I don't think that'll have anything to do with it. But if you look across America, there's some weird things that happened this week, non-predictable things that have happened this week, and it happens that way every year. So hopefully we'll be turned up and ready. But I really don't believe a letdown due to who we just played is in the mix. Now it doesn't mean that we automatically play well, but no matter what happens, I don't think it'll be due to what happened last week.
What unpredictable things stood out to you?
Upsets. Well, UConn went to Providence, and isn't that right? And got beat. Seton Hall. I'm sorry, UConn went to Seton Hall and got beat, and then who just went to Providence? Marquette just went to Providence, got beat 20. Those are good teams. But there was also which one happened last night? Creighton, Villanova, although that's a minor one, and then I thought there was one more. UCLA, Northridge, isn't that right? And there's been more. So I think there's always crazy things that happen the week after finals and right before guys go home for Christmas.
And then
It's happened to us. I mean, I know firsthand. You're too young, but hey, we go to Villanova when we got snowed in that one year, and that's the most miserable trip ever. Now, granted, they had a good team. I mean, Alan Ray and Randy Foy and Lowry and Sumter and Frazier. I mean, they had a really good team, but they named a score. And then we go to Temple not that long ago. Maybe it's just Philly. But we go to Temple not that long ago at all, and we left out of there with the 20-point knot on our head. So I do think this is one that we need to make sure Christmas is on the 25th or the 24th, opening presents, because it's not on 22nd.
And then with Johnny not here and unavailable, is anyone you're looking at to step up, or just any and anyone?
I don't. We're not approaching it like that at all. We're approaching it that we got 8 guys that we could play now instead of 9, and somebody's going to, hopefully somebody will step in and have a big night. It may give a couple of guys a little bit more of an opportunity, but. For the most part, those positions have been pretty much interchangeable, since probably the first of the month.
Yale's beat some teams this season that historically have been upset guys, Stony Brook, Gardner-Webb. So obviously this is a team that can come in and play with just about anyone. What makes Yale a tough out, and just your thoughts in general?
I think they're very well coached. I think James is a terrific coach. They're picked to win the Ivy, if I'm not mistaken. I think they tied for it last year with Princeton, and Princeton goes on to the Sweet 16, and I think they lost in the conference tournament and went to the NIT. I could be off a little bit on that, but I think James is a terrific coach. They've got guys that can shoot the basketball. I mean, they got a 7-foot center that's 12 of 25 from 3 for the year and can score and pass, like Hunter. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, he's good. And they got guards that can shoot it, and a pretty bright team too, pretty smart, to say the least, for obvious reasons. So they'll be. They'll be hard to guard, and they really move the ball. And if you're a half step behind, you're way behind. when you're guarding these guys.
Do you ever do history lessons with them? They beat Baylor in the NCAA tournament in 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself says a lot about Yale's program.
Oh, no, they got a good program, and they've had a great program for years. But, that's not going to be something that we bring up in the scouting report, something that happened in 2016. If it had happened last year, for sure. I've always thought that, you guys, and media has to, because you got to look at the bigger picture, but I don't look at quite that big a picture. Because I really don't think, you guys look at all-time wins, and I don't think what happened in 1940 or 50 has a lot to do with this team. But we always look at series records and all that stuff. And so I wish we just look at series records the last 5 years or something like that. But no, I won't use that as motivation.
Did Jamari McDowell grade out on the Indiana game, and how's he doing?
I thought he played well. He made a couple of plays that, got beat backdoor in the first half by Galloway. Obviously made a huge shot and went to the offensive glass hard and got a potential 5-point play for us. So he's doing well. I think Jamari's doing well. I know that when it comes down to it, we've got to shoot the ball more with more frequency and a better percentage. Jamari can add to that, but that's not what he does like a Furphy or Timberlake can do. So we need to get all those guys playing with the same confidence that Jamari's playing with right now.
Do you know when Johnny will be back?
Yeah, 26th. So. Yeah, he was just gone for this, 6 days, as far as when we're together.
You just mentioned Nick. Do you have a plan for how to push him through this? KJ just said he's still knocking it down in practice.
He was. Yesterday in practice was it's a different looking team when you make 2 out of 3 when you're open and he was aggressive, so hopefully get some confidence through practice this week, and hopefully, play better and do what he does and why we recruited him. I'll be honest with you, we didn't exactly recruit Nick because he was going to be a defensive stopper, but we did recruit him because he could get the ball in the basket, and he hasn't done that yet with consistency. So we know that he's got that in him, and it'll happen, but we're hopeful it'll happen sooner rather than not.
How do you think he's handling it?
I think outwardly he's handling it perfect. Inwardly he's probably got to be, God, what's going on? You look at the Indiana game, and it's such a small sample size because he did some good things. But, you miss 2 wide open ones, you miss a front end, and then, is he better defensively if he's not scoring the ball than what somebody else would be? And so it's such a small sample size, and it's so unfair for bench guys to have a shorter rope, so to speak, as far as making mistakes. But that's the reality in which we live in, but I'd love to see him get on a roll.
Real quick too, with your core 4, if you could, would there be one thing you want each of those guys individually to improve on?
Absolutely.
Can you share?
Absolutely.
What
I think
that might
Hunter
be?
ball screen defense and protecting the rim. I think Kevin's probably been the most consistent performer. I think KJ's been the best at times, but he could certainly defensive rebound a lot better if you look at the numbers. And that needs to happen because if he can defensive rebound, he can bring it on the break, and he's probably as good as we have at bringing it on the break. And then Juan, I think just an overall game as far as, he's been uncharacteristically careless at times, and I think he can certainly tighten that up. Everybody can do better. But I'm also going to tell you, every coach in America could say that about 4 of their 5 starters on what they can do better. So, I don't want to say I'm pleased or content, But I think there's still another step our guys can take. But up until this point, it hasn't been. I think the bigger concern up until this point isn't those 4. It's the development of 5 through 9. But those 4 can play better, and they know that. All right, guys. Merry Christmas to all. If I don't see you after the game, but I probably will.